with all due respect, 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 with all due with all due respect, 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 with all due.
We are the With All Due Respect podcast with your girl, LadySamoan.
Yes.
And me, your main man, Mo. How are y'all doing today? And actually, first and foremost, how are you doing today, Miss LadySamoan?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. I'm excited to be, recording again. And
where have you been? I mean, time has really gotten away from us. Where have you been?
Yes, time has really, passed, and it kind of gives you that visual, like, what I'm saying, whether you on it or not, whatever you do is going to go by. And for me, just kind of being in tune with the family and trying to get everything back together. And, we've been with different projects and just trying to, bring it all back to the table where it all started from, man.
Actually, really pouring into a lot of others, a lot of other great projects, a lot of other great ventures that's going on outside of us, as well as including us as well. So a lot of time got lost within that right there.
Oh, yeah.
And I won't even say lost, because we actually learned a lot throughout that right there. And you made a real good point just now. You said bringing it back to the beginning. We're actually at our kitchen table, recording off our iPad. And if y'all may have been following our journey, this is where we started. And we got all the way to the point where we got an office, we had the video and everything. And now we actually said, you know what? Since so much time has passed, let us get back to the essence of what it is that we do, which is just true conversation, transparent conversation and whatnot. So we actually decided to take it back to the iPad. We don't have no microphones right now in front of us, y'all. Like, this is literally where we started at. So what was real heavy on my mind is time, right? Because we just stated that time has gotten past us, and we spoke about it briefly. It's really crazy to me how quick time goes by.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I want to know, did it always go by like this right here? Or is the fact that we were young adults, we were kids, but now the fact that we're adults with children, and we're trying to keep up with life. And not only that, our 11-year-old Malik, he even said, Dad, it was just this right here. Now, Dad, look at this right here. How do you actually factor? What do you contribute to the fact that time is going by so quick?
Man, it's crazy that you said that as far as us being adults, I thought about that quickly. I'm like, maybe it could be that we're adults and we got to handle our own business and everything we got going on, to where, it's just boom, boom, boom. But honestly, I think a lot of it is when you're focused on so many things that's going on around you, when life is just passing. Like, it's so crazy. I was talking to someone just yesterday. She was like almost a year or so done passed, and I'm like, dang. You know what I'm saying? I see children from daycares that I used to work for.
We look at our own kids. When we look at Malik, like you talking about next year, my man will be a teenager.
Absolutely.
He's sitting here praying. He's sitting here fasting currently, y'all. And
for
a mustache.
Yeah.
We went to church, and the gentleman that was speaking, he was speaking, and I forgot his name, but y'all can look forward to seeing and hearing him on our actual platform. He was speaking about fasting. And in the midst of fasting, what are you hoping to gain? Because you're actually giving up this in hopes to gain something else. And our son was so moved by it. He said, you know what? He didn't tell me, he told his mother now. He's like, you know what? I'm hoping to gain a mustache.
Yeah, that's that.
This is going to show you the innocence.
The innocence. And he, but honestly, when you look at it, I remember talking to people, and I'm like, man, we're going to get up. We're going to get up. And I look at it, it's just life is happening before our eyes, and it's nothing we can do about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it's very important for us to actually use our time wisely. As young adults, or even as teenagers, young kids, your parents will say you better use your time wisely. You never really thought about that until now. I know for me personally, now I'm looking at it like, yo, I understand what that means now, because, it's almost Christmas.
Yes.
It seemed like January was just here. We was talking about
starts in 2 weeks.
Exactly, and we were just talking about okay, what we're going to do for X, Y, Z. But one thing I think is very important, and I want to ask you too, what you think about it is, as far as when it comes with time, I think it's very important that people understand that as much as we use our time wisely, we have to also take into account that you must also use your time wisely, but also, I lost it. Be mindful of
how you spend your time and who you spend it with.
Exactly. How you spend it and who you spend it with.
I believe that everything happens in life as it should. I'm learning to believe that. I believe that everything also is a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't feel like the time was wasted. I really feel like it was one of those things where I had to go off of school for a little bit, and I came back to actually be able to give you this new and improved version of myself.
Okay, absolutely. And this is what, it was.
Because there's no losses in life. There's only lessons. Only time it's considered a loss if you didn't learn the lesson. That's my personal take on it.
That's true. That's true. I can agree.
That's a little
with
bit of Moism for you too. That didn't get quoted from no Albert Einstein or Henry Ford. That's straight Moism.
I can agree with that. I think you know, and a lot of times I was just speaking to a very close friend of mine, and I told her, I say, you know, even in the midst of what you're going through, you know what I'm saying, and you're spending time with various people, you know what I'm saying, outside of your family, you know, even if you're at work, you know, you're there for a good period of time, you have to take into account the people that you come in contact with when you're at these locations, even in a grocery store. Don't push it to the side,
right,
and be like, you know, oh, that's just the person shopping like me. Because there's people that are placed along our journey.
Strategically.
Exactly.
By the higher power, whoever it is that you submit to.
Yes. That's placed there, that's in position to help us get to a next level, or even to help us get out of what we may be going through at the time.
Yes.
So
to offer some advice,
yes,
to offer some form of resource, and it's not always a dollar bill or a check.
Yep.
You know what
Absolutely,
I'm saying? So
not.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying? And just as crazy as we're talking about time, a lot of most of it can be just the time spent.
Yes.
That time spent with that individual. You know what I'm saying? You're going through something real hard, and I'm sitting here, we work together, and I'm talking to you. We done spent like an hour outside of work just talking and staying in the parking lot. That time right there took
you away from your current circumstance.
Exactly.
To where you very well may not have felt that you can make it through. You may have made a drastic decision that was life altering for you and your family.
Yeah.
But because I offered this, we just coming through the turnstile together, excuse me, or whatever the case might be, like, you know what? What's that on your sweatshirt? Yeah. And now you done spark the whole conversation and take somebody out their current circumstance to actually hopefully rebuild them up to attack the day, to attack the rest of the day and tomorrow.
And it's important too. I want to point out too, because a lot of us are in situations that you don't want to be in. When you're in a situation that you don't want to be in, we waste time. We waste time in a. Now I'm gonna tell you something.
I'm a victim of it.
Even when you're in a situation where you don't want to be in, you have to be mindful of your time. Yes. Still. It's still something in that you got to get out of that situation. I tell people, be careful of actually having a don't care attitude during a season or a time in your life.
Well, you need to be still in silence.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because there's something you have to learn about that. In that moment, there's something you got to learn. So I think that's very important that we highlight to individuals and let people know too. Like, just because you're at a place, because we want to move a lot of the time, we want to move when it's not time for us to move.
Yes.
And you're trying to, in your mind, you're constantly just thinking like, I want to go. I got to get out of this. I got to get out of this. If you be still, you're going to see everything around you just look a little different.
It was almost like we was talking last night. I was talking to a gentleman out. He'll remain nameless. He was. I guess he was running late from work, and the red light caught him. And I said, you got to be mindful. That red light very well had helped you to avoid a situation ahead, or even potentially put you in an opportunity or position to better your current circumstance.
Yeah.
So you got to understand, like you said earlier, everything happens and are put in place in a strategic format. Now it takes for you as the student of what's going on, to actually have that open mind, to be like, you know what? Because no matter how much you kick and scream, and we said it before, I know I have, you're not going to leave this place until you figure and learn this lesson. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be blessed abundantly or even go to the next grade until you figure out and learn the principles, the everything that's in this moment. Until you learn that, you're not going to the next level. So you might as well stop kicking and screaming and crying and whatnot. Sit down, shut the hell up, figure out and learn this lesson, and move forward.
And one thing to highlight on, it takes time. God, that right there, to me, I'm like, to learn that right there, being a person that want to always just attack a situation.
Because we feel being productive is moving.
Exactly. In reality, sometimes being still is being productive.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. But we got to understand, it's as quick as we're sitting here talking about how fast time moves, we have to understand that it takes time for things to move. Time is going to move fast, but in order for some things to come into fruition, in order to your dreams, your goal, you got to realize it's going to take probably 1 year, 2 years, 3. And it's like, for us, we're looking at it, oh man, a year is a long time. No, it is not.
No, it really isn't.
A year is not a long time.
That's a child's way of thinking.
Yeah, because
as an adult.
There's a lot of people that work on their dreams, and they're sitting here and they're planting seeds, man. Look how long it takes for a harvest to actually,
again,
you know what I'm saying?
I think we tend to look at it in a child's format. We want things now.
Yeah.
We're not you're telling your son you're on punishment for the next, oh God, 2 weeks. That's a long time. In all actuality, the months go by crazy, especially when you got a car.
I think it's important for us to have a farmer's mentality.
Yes. Plant the seed. You sit there and you take care of the seed. You harvest it, you nurture it. Absolutely. It's actually in the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. I think something along those lines.
Yeah, you look at life, man, the seasons, certain things can be planted. Certain things need to be planted in certain seasons, and certain things grow only in certain seasons. So
matter of fact, that was the song with our good friend Siege. What was the name? The song that you love so much. It's on his album Heavy. It's one of those songs right there, and you love it so much. I forgot what it's called, but nonetheless, he was talking. I think it's called Seasons. Nonetheless, yeah. By the way, check out Siege. Second album is called Heavy. It's a real good body of work. We was actually at the album release party, but your album release concert. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely right. Yeah. I'm telling you, because there's a lot of things that hit me now that if I was continuing to actually just go, I would have never understood what it was that I had to learn, or even see. Like, I had a close friend of mine that told me, you have to be still. And I remember battling back and forth, like, what you mean be still? I can't be still. I got too much going on. I got family. I got to make sure this right here is right. I got to make sure, XYZ, boom, boom, boom. Because that's what I was used to doing. And for her to have to check me.
Being productive by moving.
Exactly. And it's like, by all means necessary. That was my thing. If this didn't work, then okay, dive into this. So now one thing that I'm actually learning is to be still, not also, just be still, but also just let things flow.
Take in your scenery. It's almost like these kids walking around on their phones all day long. Like, look up, see what's going on around you. So while you're in that place of you feel that you're stagnant, take note of what's going on around you. So therefore, when it's time to go to that next level, everything that you took notes on, because you're going to get quizzed, make sure that you're equipped for the next level.
Even like with you, I want you to just share a little piece before we actually leave up out of here, because one thing that I wanted to say for me that I've learned, and one thing that I picked up on, was I crochet. That helps me, that helps me kind of pass the time and think like I'm still busy. You know what I'm saying? I still, and it's like I really don't have like a whole big window, but I make time to just sit there. That makes my thoughts kind of line up a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I'm at a certain type of peace when I'm doing that, and I get a certain type of excitement to be able to create things and give to other people. Now, what was it, and what was that feeling for you when you were at a moment in your life to where you had to just stand still, and you were still for like A year's change.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah, you're right.
You literally saw the seasons change.
So you're talking about my bout with cancer. It was one of those things to where I was actually forced, because like yourself, I felt, especially being the head of the household, moving. I gotta be productive. I gotta be doing this. I gotta be doing something. Set an example for my sons. Let my wife know that her husband, is the head of this household. That he can't be counted on. Everyone that was counting on me, I felt like I had to move. So when that was taken away from me, I felt helpless. And like you said, I watched the season change as I went through my chemo, my radiation and whatnot. I was really stagnant. And even prior to that, right there, I came out of a situation where I couldn't do for myself. So again, that puts you at that place of not only being stagnant, but having to count on others. And that's when you become real humble. You know, when people have to actually literally wash you up, brush your hair, help you get dressed, fix your food. So when you're in those moments like that right there, because I went through all the different emotions. I went through anger, frustration, confusion, like paranoia. I went through all those different emotions within that window of time. And like you said, I did watch the season change. I literally went from sitting in my recliner looking out the window, because I've never been a TV watcher. And that's literally when I started picking up the paper and pen. I always had these ideas and concepts, but that's when I started picking up and taking these things out of my mind, putting it onto the pad. Looking out the window, watching the seasons change, it was just one of those real humbling situations, and there was nothing I could do. It didn't matter how much money I had. It didn't matter how much money my friends or family had. It was not going to help me in that situation, and it was only time.
Time. That's it.
And I really feel that time, with the proper perspective, time heals everything.
Yeah, and I guess that's how to say time heals all wounds.
Yeah, all wounds, and that's from all facets of it. All wounds, time. Again, but you have to be open-minded to it.
And then you gotta, let's insert, and I think this
time is important.
I want to insert that into for someone who may be listening, as well as we say time heals all wounds. You also have to allow yourself to heal in the process. Yes. Your mental, you know what I'm saying? You have to change the way you think, because if you sat in that recliner with the whole thought that you always had, you would still be stagnant even after you recovered. So I think you have to understand that when you're going through anything, your mentality has to change. And when you find yourself in a position to where you have to just be still and you have time just passing, you have to look yourself in the mirror, and that's sometimes hard to do. And you have to see, what is it or why is it that I'm going through this? What's going on? Sometimes you may not even get those answers immediately.
Please understand,
as time go by, you're going to see all things come together.
Come back full circle.
All things come together. So,
and you know something, even as far as forgiving yourself, you got to also give that person or persons time to forgive as well. Just because you extend the olive branch and said, I'm sorry, doesn't mean everything's hunky-dory. Allow them time. You took your time to get to this point. Allow them to take up that time with you, and now y'all both are in a period to where, like, all right, what's the medium?
And that's why that's why I feel like you look at it, this generation now, and just a lot of the younger generation, they're so easy to give up on stuff. Even with marriage, even with a lot of stuff, you're so easy just to throw in the towel, when really it takes time. You know what I'm saying? I always use the whole thing like, it took time for you to learn how to love me. Yeah. It took time for me to learn how to love you. You know what I'm saying? That stuff takes time. It's not just an immediate thing. So, you got to allow yourself that time. In allowing yourself that, you have to have self-care. Take care of yourself.
Give yourself this month right here, September, is actually self-awareness month or self-care month, something of that nature. I think I read online today.
But you have to take care of yourself. And because
if you're not taken care of, you got to find that medium. And I said that in my Moses Monday moment. I'm at a place of medium. In the process of taking care of yourself, the process of taking care of people, you got to find that medium, take care of yourself. Because if you're not at this point of, you're pouring from an empty cup.
Absolutely.
It's pretty much what's being said at this point right here. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's about it.
That's it right there.
That's good. That's good right there, Pastor. That's good right there, Pastor.
That's real good. I really before we end, I just hope that somebody can take the time out to actually kind of reevaluate their situation and reevaluate what's going on around, because a lot of times we drive ourselves crazy with stories and situations that's not even happening because we're so caught into our problems that we don't even see our reality.
You know what? Time might be one of our biggest assets, but also one of our biggest hindrances as well. You look at something as far as the reason why most diets fail or weight loss things fail or just anything because we put a time frame on it. We don't meet that time frame. We say, to hell with it. But then honestly, on the other end, just like the harvest, just like the farmer, it takes time to get that crop.
And that's just like what we always say. And one thing that I use, I say, let me tell you something. It's going to happen whether I do it the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I stick to this, time's going to go by regardless. So you already know what's going to happen if you don't stick with it. So you might as well stick with it and take that time and just see, like, okay, let me see what's going to happen.
Go through all the growing pains, go through all the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations. Because like I said as well, you're going to struggle regardless.
Regardless.
So you might as well go ahead and do something. In the process of struggling, you might as well do something that you enjoy doing. The struggle is going to be real either way it goes.
Yes. Figure out what it is that you love. Figure out what it is that you can improve on, what it is that you can build on during that time. Because you're looking at, like, I don't have time to sit there and do X, Y, Z. I would rather be out here partying, or I'd rather be spending money doing this. You don't have that right now. So you're in a season
you don't have that luxury.
You don't have that luxury. So you're in a season of having to be still. When you're being still, figure out you in that season. Figure out you. When you get to know you, so many other things around you will change. Absolutely. So many other things. But this conversation can go on and on and on. And
what we're going to do is, y'all please check us out as far as our Motivational 3 with myself, Mr. Lloyd Hale with his Wednesday Wild, Lady Simone with her Fresh Fridays. Y'all please check out our weekly playlist with ourselves and Mr. Quinton Greer of 19 and Below, as well as Pretty Above All. We release a weekly playlist every Friday. What else it is we have going on? Oh, our children, they're actually releasing their
cookie sandwiches.
Their cookie sandwiches called BCE, the best cookies ever. So those will be releasing soon. We still have the Mo pies. We're in the process of really revamping a lot of different things, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful fourth quarter. And again, man, we are With All Due Respect podcast with Lady Simone. I'm your man, Mr. Mo, aka I woke up this morning. Y'all have yourselves a good day, all right?